Today we'll discuss a couple of questions about study session 2, that is quantitative. Mainly I will focus on timeline and time value of money questions. The first question is the amount an investor will have in 15 years if 1,000 is invested today. The first thing that you should understand is what is N, what is IY, what is future value, and what is present value. So we are going to invest today is this is the present value, this is N, that is 15 years. Today at an annual interest rate of 9% will be closest to which of the following option. For solving these questions we'll be looking for a calculator, and this calculator is BA2 plus. If you see the third line, this third line is the timeline, and it has certain buttons called N, I/Y, PV, that is the present value, PMT is the series of the cash that is going to be received, and future value is in this particular question we have to calculate the future value. Before you start anything on calculator, always just make sure that there is no previous data in the calculator, and you have to give a very easy command. Just put the compute second, and then there is a button for clear TVM, time value of money, and you will click this, so it will erase the previous records into. Now what we will do is we'll put this data and we'll try to see what is the future value. If we see the question, as I told you, 15, first you will enter 15 and you will press N, so that is the data input. The next is IY, that is 9, because 9% is the rate. You will click IY. This is another input has been done. He's told us that today we will spend 1,000, so today is your present value. You will write 1,000 and you can make a minus sign. If you will put minus sign here, these two should be always negative signs, like present value and future value. If you link minus with that, the other will come positive, and if you don't put this, the resultant will come negative. This is we should know. And this 1,000 we put as the present value. What is the series of payment? There is no information available. Money will come after a certain period of time, so we will put 0 PMT, and then of course if I compute the future value, it will come 3642. That is the C answer, and it is the accurate answer. So all questions that we will do, we have to use the calculator, and we should know that the first skill that we have to develop out of the given information, what is N, IY, present value, future value, and PMT. Once we develop this skill, we should know how to enter the data in the calculators, and we'll get the information in a right way. Let's move to the other question. This question is pretty simple. The first skill that we have to do in this question is to identify what is N, what is IY, what is future value, present value, and PMT. That is in our calculator is the third row, so we can enter the data and get the right answer. I will start finding for you. 10 is the present value, because an investor bought a share. We will put a minus sign when we will enter this. To get the positive outcome, the stock has paid no dividends during this period, yet it has returned 20%, that is the IY, and compounded annually. There are cases like compounded quarterly, semi-annually, and annually. This is we have studied in the portion when we were studying the text. and if it is true, the price is. So you can see N is 50 years, IY is 20 years, present value is 10. There will be no payment over the period of time, so we have to compute the future value. In front of you, I'm going to put the information, and how I'm going to put is, I'll put 50 before, as I told you, before anything, just to avoid a mistake. This compute second and clear, this is the command for entering, for removing any kind of previous data. So we will put 50, this is your N, 20 is your IY, and then we will put 10, that is where I will put a minus sign with it, and then we are going to put this is the present value, 0 is your payment series, and then I will put compute and fair value, that is coming 91,004, that is the C answer. Let's move to the next question. How much must be invested today? Means I want to locate my present value at 0% to have 100% in this coming 3 years. It's a very interesting question. If there is no return, 0%, so I have to invest the same similar amount. So B is the right answer, because there is no interest accumulation and added deletions available. If I will invest today $100, there is no returns on it, 0% return. So after 3 years, if I want to get $100, the amount I have to be invested today is $100. So B is the right answer. Moving forward, how much must be invested today? So it's again, we are going to calculate the present value, how much should be invested today at 8% interest, that is IY, to be accumulated enough to retire a 10,000 debt. So this is your future value, means in future we want to get 10,000. I'll put a minus sign for calculation purposes. Due 7 years, 7 is your N from today. So the amount that must be invested today is closest to what? So the first skill in the question to identify what is N, what is future value, what is IY, what is PMT, which is I highlight, this is the IY, N is 7, which is here, 7 is your N, 8 is your IY. In future you will receive 10,000, put a minus sign to get a positive answer. PMT is 0, there is no payments over the period of time, and we will compute the future value. I'll put the same thing, I'll clear the data, then I will put information like 7, that is N, then we will put 8, that is IY, then we will put 10,000, that is the future value. I'll put a sign, and this is your future value. There is no payment, so PMT is 0, and if I want to compute the present value, means as of today, that is 5834.90, that is the right answer. Moving forward, an analyst estimate that XYZ earning will grow from $3 a share to $4.5. So $3 is your present value, 4.5 when it will move, it will be a future value. So the skill that we have to identify in the information, who is who, what is FP, PV and IY, which is very simple, per share over the next 8 years. So 8 is your N. The rate of growth earning is closest, so we need to tell what is the IY. So out of these timelines, you will be given a couple of information, and one you have to find out. This question want a rate of growth, which is pretty simple, and we can extract the information in technical way. 8 is the year, present value is 3. I'll put a minus sign to get a positive outcome. Future is 4.5. I told you before, if it is minus, this will be positive. If this is minus, then it will be positive. Otherwise, your calculator is going to give you an error. PMT is 0, compute, and then we will get. So I'll put this information in this calculator. I'll clear the timeline, and then I'll put information into 8. And then we will put 3. I'll put a minus sign. This is my present value. 4.5 is my future value. Then my payments PMT is 0, and I have to compute the IY. This is coming 5.19, which is, if I round off, it will become 5.2. That is the B right answer. Moving forward, we have another question. If 5,000 is invested in a fund offering a rate of return of 12% per year, so IY is 12%, approximately how many years it will take for the investment to reach 10,000. So 10,000 will be your future value, and the question is asking about the N, that what is the number of years. So in timeline, you have N. Now we have to compute the N, but we are given with IY, PV, PMT, and FV. Will put it inside. So what is the scenario? The present value is 5,000. That has to be with the minus sign if we want to get a positive outcomes. IY is given as a 12%, and the future value that we want to achieve, that is 10,000. PMT as usual is 0 in this question because there's no series of payments during the process. And then we have to press this compute and N button. We will get 6.12. So the right answer will be 6 years. So now I'll put this same information in the calculator and try to find out. This is 5,000. I'll put a minus sign. This is your present value. I'll put present value here. Then I will put 12. That is your IY. And then I will put the future value. That is here. And 0 is your PMT. And I have to compute here the N, that is coming 6.11. If I round off, it will become 6.12. Okay, so let's move forward. We have another question. An investment is expected to produce the cash flow of $500, $200, and $800 at the end of next 3 years. So pretty much simple. We have these values, and if the required rate, that is IY, the present value of investment. So if you first thing we have to put it, there could be 2 options. I will use the cash flow keys. That is year 0, first year will get CF1, then CF2, and then CF3 is 800, I is 12. So we will calculate our NPVs. Alternative, what we can do is you can add up the present value of single cash flows by using this formula. This is N1, N2, and N3. These are your future values that we will get: 500, 200, and 800. IY is 12% is given. Compute present values you will get. If you add all these 3, you will get your right answer. So both ways you can do. We will do another question that will develop our skills more about cash flow. Given an 8.5% discount rate, an asset that generate cash flow of $10 in year 1, that is outflow minus 20, in year 2 $10, in year 3 and is then sold for 150 at the end of year 4, has a present value. So the question require your skill of highlighting your N, your I, your other cash flow, how you are going to solve this. So in that, because we have different stream of cash inflow and outflow, so it's better to put this stream into this calculator and try to get your net present value, which is pretty simple. But we'll take this calculator before we will start our working. I'll press CF, I'll press second, and we will press the clear button. So there is no data now. Now we can start putting inside. If you see that CF is 0, the first is 0, so I'll put 0, enter, then I'll put this sign, this is the first is 10, I will put the same, enter, I'll press 1, another time I will put this, CO2 is 20, and I'll put a minus sign with this, I will enter, and then I will do 2 times this. So this CO3 is ready to enter. I'll put 10 into, then we will enter, then 2 times I will put this down arrow sign. Now I can put CO4, and 150 is the value. After that I will press this enter, I'll press this down button, then I will press this net present value, and it will ask what is the discount rate. So I'll put 8.5, then I will press enter and this arrow sign, and then I will say compute. So my answer is 108.29, which is exactly the same 108, and that is the A option. That is the right option that we should go for. Now we will do another question. This is question number 9. An investor has just won the lottery and will receive 50,000 per year at the end of each of the next 20 years. So this lucky guy has got a lot of money, and at the 10% interest rate, the present value of winning is closest to. So you have to calculate a present value. And it's a pretty simple question because you have N, that is 20, you have IY, that is 10, and the payment will be every year for 20 years, that is 50,000. I'll put a minus sign with it so I can get a positive figure of the present value, and the future value is 0 in that particular case. So putting this into calculator is pretty simple. I will say compute second, and I will clear this, and then I will start putting 20, and 10 is IY, and the payment is 50,000 month yearly will come, minus sign, I'll put PMT, I will press, then I will press 0 and future value, and then I will say compute present value, that is 425,678. That is the A option, 425,678. Move forward to our next question. It is building your knowledge, how to gather the information, how to put it and get the right answer. If 10,000 is invested today, so anything you are to invest it today, this is your present value in an account that earn interest at the rate of 9.5. So your IY is 9.5. What is the value of equal withdrawals that can be taken out of the account So he's talking about withdrawal payment series, that is in general is PMT in your calculator. And if the investor plans to deplete the account at the end of the time period. So first we will try to figure in this third line what information is given. We have a present value, that is 10,000. We have IY, that is 9.5. We have 5, that is the 5 years, that is a period. Future value is 0, and we have to compute the PMT. I will do the same process, quit second and clear time value of money. So what I'm going to do is I'll put 10,000 minus sign, that is your present value. 9.5 is your I5. Then I will press N, and then I will press 0 for the future value, and then I will say compute my PMT, that is 2604.36. so that is the B answer. This is round off. This is 2604. That is exactly the right answer. So moving to the next question, an investor is to receive a 15 years 8,000 annuity. Annuity is the value annually we are receiving, with the first payment to be received today. So today we will receive, if such kind of question received today, means this is annuity due and you are going to receive money in advance. So immediately this calculator should be go in the beginning mode. How to bring it into beginning mode, this is I will explain shortly. At an 11% discount rate, this annuity worth today is closest to what? So this is a question of annuity due. We have to shift this calculator into a beginning mode, which is I'm going to do now. How to put a calculator into a beginning mode is pretty simple. You have to say compute second, then you will put this PMT button. It will show you end. So you will going to press this second, and then it will press enter. It will come in beginning mode, and second and shift. So it will be in the beginning mode permanently. Now once the calculator is in the beginning mode, I have to put this all information, and this will go this way. I will enter 15 first, then I will press N. We want to receive 8,000, so I will enter 8,000 with a minus sign, and this will be my PMT. Then after this 11 is the percentage of discount rate, so IY is 11, and then the 0 is the future value. So I can easily compute my present value, that is 63854.92, which is exactly the same figure, and that is the C is the right answer for it. Moving forward, we have given an 11% rate of return, that is IY, the amount that must be put into an investment account at the end of each of the next 10 years in order to accumulate 60,000. That is your future value to pay for a child education is closest to what? So question is pretty simple, because you need money at the end of the period, so it is a normal stream and there is no need for the beginning. So I will shift the calculator back to my end mode, that is a normal mode, and I will put information in this way. I will press 10, then N, then my 11 is IY, and my future value is 60,000 that I want to receive. So that is future value. Then I will put 0 for my present value, and I will compute my PMT, that will come 3588.08. that is the right answer shown in the B option. So this is how it is going to be handled. I'll do another question that is really important. And if 1000 is invested today, so today what you're going to invest is your present value, and 1000 is invested at the beginning of each of the next 3 years. So in that particular scenario, when we say we want to receive money at the beginning of the year, that is, we have to change the calculator in a beginning mode, and the next 3 years at 12% interest, that is compounded annually. So 12% is your IY, the amount an investor will have at the end of 4th year will be closest to what? So first of all, we will change our calculator to the beginning mode as I explained in the previous question. Once we begin to the beginning mode, I'll put N because this is 4th year. Today we are going to invest 1000, so this will be your stream, and PV present value will be 0 and IY is 12, and then you will compute the fair value. It will give you an answer 5353. That is the right answer. And as a precaution, whenever you put your calculator in beginning mode, don't forget to make it back as a ending mode. Now we'll do a question that is really interesting. An investor is looking at 150,000 home. So he is going to pay 20% as a down payment. So 80% of that will be the amount that we have to take in consideration. 9% over, this is IY over the next 30 years. So 30 is your 30 years is your time. 9 is over the period. And what is the monthly mortgage payments? When he says monthly, so everything has to be multiplied or divided by, based on this concept that N is 30 years, so it will be monthly. We have to calculate, multiply by 12, 360. IY by is 9 by 12, so this is your 9, this is by 12, it is 0.75. Now present value, how we'll calculate, because 150 is the home value and 20% is going to put down, so 80% is the remaining that we have to see, that is 120. I'll put a minus sign so I can get a positive value. Future value 0. Then I'll compute the series of payments that I have to do. That will be 965.55. Moving forward, he says given daily compounding, the growth of 5,000 invested for 1 year at 12% interest will be closest to what? So first of all, this is the same questions that we discussed in our study session, that we can have daily, monthly, we can have quarterly, and we can have semi-annually and annually rates. So first of all, 1 year, so 1 into 365 IY, because it is 12%, so it will be divided by 365. That is your 0.03287. Your series of payment is not described, so it will be 0. Present value that you have to invest today is 5,000. We add a minus sign to it, and if you compute, your future value will come 5637.37. I will put in calculator in front of you. That is 365. Then I will press N. Then ahead I have to press the 0.0328767. This is your IY. Your PMT is 0, and your future value, your present value with minus sign is 5,000. I can compute and can calculate the future value, that is 5637.37. That is the right answer. Moving forward, he says Tari Corporation preferred stocks are expected to pay $9 annual dividend forever. if the required rate of return on equivalent investment is 11%, a share of Terry preferred would be worth of what? So if you take this $9 and divide it with the ratio, that will be the 81.2. That is the required rate of return. A share of Terry preferred will be 81.2. That is the A answer. Similar kind of questions we have. A share of George Co. preferred stock is selling for $65. It pays a dividend of 4.5 per year and have a perpetual life. Perpetuity is when you have an indefinite period of time. The rate of return is offering is investor closest to. Take the dividend 4.5 and divide it with the value, so you will get 0.0692, which is 6.92%, which is the B answer. Moving forward, we have a very interesting question, that is the if 10,000 is borrowed at 10% interest to be paid back over 10 years, how much of the second year payment is interest? Assume annual loan payment. So question is pretty simple. You have to calculate the interest value for the second year. What we can do is, first of all, we can take our present value, that is 10,000, future value is 0, IY is 10%, and N is 10 years. So you will compute the month series. This is 1627.4. So you will first put minus 10,000, press present value. You will put 0, press future value, enter 10, put press IY, enter 10, press N, and then compute button, and then PMT, and you will get 1625. The first year interest is 1,000. That is 10% of 10,000, right? So 10,000, 10% is 1,000. So the principal going in year 2 is 10,000 minus the difference of this, that is 9372.55. Year 2 interest is therefore is this into the rate, that is 937.26. That will be the right answer. And now we'll do the last question of this topic for the day. What is the effective annual rate for a credit card that charges 18% compounded monthly? So we have to calculate an effective annual rate. We'll take the same formula, 1 plus the rate divided by, because he's talking about the compounded monthly, we'll divide by month 12, and the power will be 12 minus 1. So on calculator it's very easy to solve. Like you can first you will divide these, you'll get n plus 1, then this xy button, and power is 12, and minus 1, it will give you 19.56. so that will be pretty simple to solve. Now we'll do a lot of challenging questions. The first one is the park plans to take 3 cruises, one each year. They will take their first cruise 9 years from today, the second cruise 1 year after that. So the sequence will go like 9 year, 10 year, and 11 years. That it is the third cruise 11 year from today. The type of cruise they will take currently cost 5,000. So that will be the investment. But they expect inflation will increase by this cost by 3.5% per year on average. So we will take this inflation rate in our consideration. What equal contribution must they make today and every year until their first cruise? 10 contribution in order to have saved enough at the time for all these 3 cruises. Okay, let's start solving. There are different ways we can do this question. 5,000 is the price, and 3.5% for 9 years we have to keep in consideration. So 1 plus 0.35 raised power 9, that is, if we add all this expected inflation for 9 years, the price will come 6814.49. So when I will calculate the present value of the first cruise, that will be at the 9th year. So this is the price 6814.49, and for 1 plus 0.08, that is my discount factor. So 1 plus 0.8 raised power 9, it will give me a present value of 3408.94. Same process I will do it for the second cruise and third cruise. So I will take this 1.035 for 10 years, for 11 years. This is the 1 plus hurdle rate, that is 11, and here 10, and it will be multiplied with the cost of investment that we will do in a cruise. So you will get 3 present value of first, second, and third. That will be the composition of these 3 will be 9806.62. So how we will do this question if you want to use the timeline? This is pretty simple. We started with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9th is the year. So 9th year present value is 3408.94. Then we have 10th and 11th, and total of this will be 9806.62. A company dividend in 1995 was 0.88 over the next 8 years. So 8 years is the period. The dividend were 0.91, 99, 1.1, and so on. These are the figures. Calculate the annually compounded growth rate of the dividend over the whole period. So we have to calculate the compound period for a year. How it will go is we will see the dividend is 0.88 and it has become 1.26. So in 8 years, so we can see 0.88, 1 raised power I into 8 years is 1.6. So what is the I? I is the compound growth rate. We can solve it in this way: 1.6, 0.8 raise 1 by 8 minus 1, so it will give you 4.589. That is the rate. We can also adjust by this 1.6.88. So if we press 3 times, we will get 1.04, and the answer is 4.589. So both ways you can work on. The technique for solving the compound growth rate is of course very useful, and you will see it a lot of questions. Calculate values. What we can take it, the present value is 0.88, future value is 1.66, PMT is 0, and you can, N is 8 years, and you can compute 1 by Y, that is 4.585. So solving this question by a calculator, you can enter 0.88, press PV, then 8N, 1.26 minus sign, then future value, 0 PMT, and then you will press compute, and IY will be 4.589. Let's do another question. This is also interesting. An investment, a bond will pay 1,500 at the end of each year. So it is a normal phenomenon. You invest and you get return at the end of each year for 25 years. On the day of last payment, we'll also make a separate payment of 40,000. So that will also consideration. If your required rate of return on this investment is 4%, how much would you be willing to pay for the bond today? So if you can see that your N is 25 and 1500 is your PMT, and your future value is 40,000. So you can compute the present value by putting information like N is 25, PMT minus 1,500, that is the yearly flow, and future value that you will pay at the last payment is 40,000, and you can press compute and present value. Your answer will be 38,437.79. You can do the similar question from another way. This is all your choice. Another challenging question we can do is a bank quote certificate of deposit yield both an annual percentage rate without compounding and as an annual percentage yield, that is API, that include the effect of monthly compounding. $100,000 CD will pay $110,471.31 at the end of the year. Calculate APR, that is annual percentage rate, and calculate annual percentage yield the bank is quoting. So we can do this question like here. For APR, present value is 100,000, future value is 110,000, PMT is 0, and is for 12. You can compute IY, that is 0.83, and you can multiply with the 12, so you will get 10% rate for this. For the APY, that is annual percentage yield, you have 110, that is your future, this is your basic, minus 1, so you will get 0.1047, that is 10.47, equivalent to a compound monthly rate of 0.833. So this is the way you can sort out these two, APR and APY, as a calculations. Moving forward, we have another question. A client has 202,971.39 in an account that earns 8% per year, compounded monthly. The client's 35th birthday was yesterday, and she will retire when the amount value is 1 million. So in that particular scenario, there are two questions. At which age can she retire if she puts no more money in the account? So when she will get 1 million, this is the first question which we can solve. Present value is 202, that is she is going to put an account. IY is 8 per year, so you can divide by 12, you'll get the rate. Payments are 0, and future value is 1 million, so you will compute the N. It will be 240.240 months, that is 20 years. She will be 55 years old. This is the first question. Second question is, at which age can she retire if she puts 250 per month into account every month, beginning 1 month from today? So in that particular case, putting the same inputs, we will assume that now PMT, previously it was 0, so we will put $250 and we'll compute the N will become 220, which is 18.335 years. So she will be only 53. This is the end of our time value of money questions.